It's a rare type of bone cancer that develops in the cells of cartilage. For patients with unresectable or metastatic disease, there are no effective treatment options, causing an urgent need for the development of therapeutic options. We'll visit the Sarcoma Oncology Center to learn more, but first, let's meet Peter, whose optimistic outlook is helping him fight his rare disease. We're going behind the mystery of chondrosarcoma.
I was born in Scandinavia. I got my master's and PhD in applied mathematics. Met my wife, who's American, and I moved to the United States, where I've been working in the software industry. I was on vacation, and I simply noticed a small bump on my chest. Nothing that I really thought was quite serious. I thought I had stressed a muscle, and it was not before we came back that I then got to a doctor. The X-ray quite quickly showed that it was cancer. We did a biopsy, and out of that found that it was chondrosarcoma. It was becoming clear that it was serious. I was still looking at something that we would simply overcome. Very important was also that my wife took it very positively and took it very much in the same direction. We are going to solve it.
The Balancing Act traveled to Santa Monica, California to meet with oncologist Dr. Sant Chawla to understand more.
Chondrosarcoma is a very rare cancer. It will make less than 0.001% of all the cancers. Chondrosarcoma originates from cartilage, usually occurs in the long bones. It is in the pelvic bone or proximal femur, but it can occur in other bones as well.
So after surgery, as far as we could tell, it had not spread at this point. It was only in the original location. Most of the disease was actually removed. So we started discussing about whether I should take radiation. I read up on it as much as I could. The literature was really not very positive about this actually having an effect. But on the other hand, I might regret not trying at least to just stop it right at that point. Important enough to that I went ahead with it.
So when the patients have chondrosarcoma, they usually present with the pain, swelling, and bump in the body. Doctors will do X-rays or CT scan or MRI scans. Then the doctor will refer to orthopedic oncologist who specialize in sarcomas. Then the biopsy is done. Biopsy is the definitive proof of chondrosarcoma, and then biopsy will also tell us what kind of chondrosarcoma, what grade, and what treatment needs to be done.
We went for a couple of years where I was hoping that we would never see it again. Unfortunately, after about 2 years, we saw something coming back again. It spread to my lungs, it spread to my spine, spread to my skull on my head. And we had multiple surgeries, and we had another round of radiation on my skull that we actually did to try to keep it down.
Chondrosarcoma has been a very difficult disease for medical oncologists to treat. Primary treatment is surgery. The type of surgery will depend where the tumor is. Chondrosarcoma is considered chemotherapy resistant. Unfortunately, radiation therapy again does not work in chondrosarcoma. If the tumor has spread elsewhere, like lungs and other areas, the prognosis with the standard treatment is poor. Standard chemotherapies do not work, or standard immunotherapy do not work, and there is a dire need for newer treatment for these chondrosarcoma patients.
Despite many attempts by multiple pharmaceutical companies over the past few decades, there remains no effective treatment options for people with unresectable or metastatic chondrosarcoma.
So with no standard of care for metastatic chondrosarcoma, I started a clinical trial that we did, and the result of it unfortunately was not as positive as we had hoped for. It was for some time slowing down the cancer, but it wasn't stopping it. At that point, in beginning of 2020, I couldn't function anymore. I knew that I needed another option.
More behind the mystery when we return. Welcome back. Let's go back to Peter's story.
So I went to an expert and pointed to that there were something that was potentially promising that was coming up. So I said, yes, I mean, immediately let's if it's something I can sign up for, let's try it out. Dr. Chawla's clinic was one of the clinics that were participating. So I went through all the steps with Dr. Chawla's office to make certain that I was eligible. I started being functional again, and more importantly, being able to do things with my wife. We as cancer patients, I mean, we need to remember that also, that it's really hard on our family. We need to remember that.
Inhibrx, a clinical stage biotechnology company, is dedicated to helping people with life-threatening conditions. They're developing a therapeutic option for chondrosarcoma called Inhibrx 109, which is currently in clinical trial. Now, based on the seriousness of this disease and the unmet medical need, the FDA granted Inhibrx 109 Fast Track designation for conventional chondrosarcoma with the hopes of accelerating its development.
So we doctors who treat these rare situations are obviously in difficult situations, and obviously patients are in dire need. And so we are looking newer ways to treat and newer clinical trials to make this tumor more sensitive and more effective to treat. And just only recently, we have been able to get few leads which are very promising in chondrosarcoma.
For somebody like me, it gives a perspective of that we have limited time, which we don't think as much as about when we don't have diseases, that we should really make certain that every day we get the most out of it, and we are the happiest that we can actually, and we make the people around us as happy as we can.
For more information on chondrosarcoma, visit Inhibrx.com, and you can always check out our website, thebalancingAct.com. We'll be right back.